Thank you for joining us for our semifinal pre-match press conference. We're joined by Long Beach State, and we have head coach Alan Knipe and student athletes Clark Godbold, Nathan Harlan, and Sotiris Chapanis. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach and then open it up for questions.
We're excited to get into the Final Four stage of this and play a really good Grand Canyon team who's had a great year, and I think Matt's done a great job with his team, and I think it was named Coach of the Year, AVCA Coach of the Year, and excited for him and what he's building out there. So congratulations to him and the team. They've had a great year, and we haven't seen them during the course of the season, but we've had a lot of respect for them because we always play. If we don't see them during the season, we always play each other in the fall, and there's a lot of good arms on that team, and there's a lot of talent in all their positions, and they're going to push tempo, and they're a very deserving team to be at this tournament. So we're excited for the opportunity, the challenge that will be in front of us, and look to play some good volleyball. I think that as a tournament goes, I think that as it's ended up, I think the four teams that are playing in the Final Four, it's going to be some really, really good volleyball. All four teams have some really good individual pieces. They all play a little bit different brand of volleyball, and they all can create a lot of stress. So we're looking forward to some great matches tomorrow night, but we're looking forward to getting out there and competing.
Yeah, fellas, first of all, how's everyone feeling? I know there's always sort of the management of the 3-match week. How are you guys feeling, and how excited are you to have a Final Four match, in your building tomorrow?
I'll start off with, it feels nice, of course, having the tournament in Long Beach, here at home, not having to travel very far. So that's like a nice perk of the tournament being here. In terms of how I personally feel, I feel awesome, playing in this now my third tournament, and it's just tons of fun with everybody, especially with the Long Beach crowd here, and all family being able to stay close and be able to watch, and I just feel really good, both playing wise and with the environment, and how exciting it is to be here.
Sotiris?
I'm just really excited for this Final Four. There's both, all four teams are really, really good. They play good volleyball. When I committed to come play volleyball in the U.S., that was my dream, to play in the Final Four, and I'm very grateful that I get a second season in a row to do this. So, yeah.
A two-part question. First, for Coach, when you play a team that you haven't played all season, how much are you relying on watching the film versus an opportunity to see them in person last night play as you're developing a scouting plan?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, but hopefully in these situations, as you run into different offenses and different styles, you're going to really fall to your training. You're going to be able to use things that you've trained on all season long for when you run into teams that do certain things. So at this point, we like to talk all the time about building a toolbox, and we don't use each tool every night. So it'll be about us flexing the ability to use what we think are the right tools against our opponents. But most importantly, we'll always be in this situation. This is applying a lot of attention to detail on what you're doing to create stress, what you're doing to be you as long as you can be you. So it's a balance. So yeah, there's a little bit. There's no doubt seeing them live. There's no doubt watching on video. But a big part of this is we'll fall to our training.
Coach, I want to ask you what tools you're going to deploy tomorrow. You're going to want to keep that a bit of a surprise. But for the players, looking at Grand Canyon a little bit, what for you jumps out on the film or seeing them in person that they're really good at?
Yeah, they run some tempo, and they got a lot of good arms and guys. And I think we're going to have to use our systems to, try to combat that. But it's just going to come down to whoever plays better volleyball, consistency-wise.
I think both of our teams are very good serving and defense teams. Like Clark said, it's going to come down to who plays the best, and their respective systems. So I think if we, pull everything together tonight, go on all full cylinders, we'll be able to take this one.
Taryn Rodriguez here of IE Sports Radio, host of Set Point. Alan, what can you say about the defense, and tell everyone how special your defense is and how you pride yourself in defense in each and every match in practice?
Well, I think you guys have heard me say before, defense in any sport, there's no doubt that there's a lot of technique to it and there's schemes to it, but for the most part, defense is a little bit more about effort in most sports than it is about tactical offense. You know, if you think about a football team, yes, there's a lot of effort that goes on into offense, but it's a little bit different than the sheer physicality and the aggressiveness of a defense. And in volleyball, you don't have that same luxury, since we have that net in between us and there's not a lot of physical contact going on in our sport. You do have a physicality of the net blocking and to be aggressive. And then in the floor defense and the effort, that's a lot what I mean about defense. Not letting balls hit the ground, covering balls, running balls down, getting back to the net fast to reproduce the first look block and defense as much as you can. So the reason why I bring all those things up is because a lot of those things that I just mentioned are within your control as an athlete. And a lot of the game, there's a lot of things that you don't have a lot of control over. But if you do have control of the effort and your attention to detail and your attitude on the court, it can really help your team. And that's why we stress that so much. And it helps our block and defense, and it helps both the block and the defense, and then the transition component of it. And we pride ourselves on the fact that if it's just work, then it's just work. Let's try to dominate that area. It's because it's one of the areas of the game you feel like you have a lot of control over.
Coach, obviously you've had several teams at the NCAA tournament. You talked about the toolbox and the way you guys prepare. I'm kind of curious for how different or not different, I guess, your approach is to building to this weekend from maybe 15, 20 years ago. Like, how do you see things differently? How do you coach in the fall differently to prepare for this? Or how do you handle the week differently than you did when you kind of were starting out?
Wow, yeah, that's a great question, Mike. Yeah, very much different. I think that with anything, the longer you do it, the more experience you get at it. Sometimes you can take a lot of good lessons out of things you think you did well, and unfortunately, a lot of times, if you wish you had done something different, you hopefully you file that away and you apply it. And over the many years that I've been coaching, we try to create a system from the very beginning of the fall that we're building with the end in mind, and everything we're doing very intentional of the way we train, the way we go about our team culture, the way we build our block and defense, the way we build our systems, the communication on the court, all for the point to get to the end of the season and be able to have very either acronyms or very bullets about what we want to do, and they mean paragraphs or training blocks to the guys. And we try to go in and out of those in practice throughout the year and touch upon all those different variations of what we're trying to do in different phases of the week, so that we're constantly, as we say, watering the green spots. So I have a ton of faith in our guys. I think that today's volleyball player, they've grown so much more physically than, as athletes than we had. And I don't mean that as any disrespect. It's the athlete we're getting today. There is significantly more depth on every team of these elite athletes. But what's super impressive to me is the volleyball IQ of the student athletes that we have right now. I think a lot of it is they see so much more volleyball. It's so attainable to them through the internet and through volumetrics, and they know the best players in the world in club. They know the best players in the world internationally. They're emulating some of those players by the time they even get here, and we can use that as an advantage. And if you're a volleyball junkie or you thrive yourself on volleyball IQ, then you're gonna be in love with our program, with the way we go about our business. And we have a whole bunch of those guys in our gym right now.
Question for Clark and Nathan. It's kind of cool that both of you are up here because this season, you two have been battling a little bit, for that starting spot position. I want to ask, how you all balance that. As competitors, you want to be out there, but you want to support each other, because I'm sure there's people who don't know anything about you two are like, oh my gosh, these two must hate each other. They're constantly battling for playing time.
No, there's no one else I would rather, of course, compete for a spot with against than this guy. I love Clark to with all my heart. He's a heck of a player. In the end of it, we have a crystal ball that we both rub that tells who gets to play the next game. No, I'm kidding. But there's seriously no one else I would rather play with / compete with in practice for in a spot other than Clark Godbold.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. We compete with each other. We play with each other. That crystal ball somewhere. Tic-tac-toe maybe, bagger, whatever we're doing. So we'll see.
And this is a question for the players. Coach obviously mentioned this, that Matt Worley was the AVCA Coach of the Year, but the Assistant Coach of the Year belonged to Nick McCray. Talk to us about how special Nick McCray is and what have been some of your favorite memories with him.
Nick is awesome. He puts a lot of time into the team and with players, and we do a lot of film and stuff in the morning with him to go over just to get a little bit better every day. And he's constantly getting better every day, and he's doing extra lifts, letting us know about it too, that he got in the lift early. Yeah, Nick's awesome. He deserves it. He deserves everything.
Yeah, like for me as an international as well, it's just really nice having coaches that are role models for you. I love picking up his IQ, and it's just the little tips he gives us. Like at this, especially this late of the year, like all you just gotta do is manage your players, their emotions, all that stuff, and all our coaching staff, including Nick, they all do such an amazing job with dealing with the individuals first, and then putting the team together.
For all the players, you look at the match tomorrow, Pyramid's going to be rocking with your fans, with Grand Canyon fans. How do you work? How important is it going to be to keep the emotions in check, make sure the adrenaline isn't pumping too much when you get out there on the court?
I feel for me sometimes I just like that. I really like picking up the energy from the fans and then taking that energy and then myself putting it back on the team. So I feel it's going to be a good combination of us being excited, playing for the Final Four, and then having our fans giving us even that little extra boost. So it's going to be good for us.
So you couldn't have said it better. I love it. It's the feeling, before the game, middle of the game, end of the game, whatever it is, whenever it is, it's a great feeling to have.
And then final question for me. It's me today, so you get one off-the-wall question. I asked my 6-year-old to come up with questions, and she wants to know, what was your favorite TV show growing up?
TV show? I wouldn't say growing up, but more recently, Adventure Time. Fan favorite of mine. That's mine.
I think growing up, I watched Zoe 101 with my brother a lot.
I would say like growing up, as an American show, because I really mainly watched Greek shows when I was a kid, cartoons and everything. But sometimes on TV, Hannah Montana will play. I will watch that sometimes, yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Good luck.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.